Local and state police in Maryland continue to be outnumbered tonight as protests continue despite a curfew. Now, last night we told you when the National Guard was activated to assist, and tonight we're learning more about how they're helping. Eyewitness News reporter Kelly Sullivan is live from the mobile newsroom with more in-depth coverage.
The National Guard is not primarily called in to be the law enforcement agency. It's there to back up local and state law enforcement. However, as we're seeing in Baltimore right now, local and state law enforcement need some help. Hours of rioting that turned into injured police officers and burning buildings. A state of emergency declared. The National Guard called in to help Baltimore keep the peace. The rioting followed the funeral of 25-year-old Freddie Gray, who died in police custody. Peaceful protests quickly turned violent.
To make the transition from a combat scenario to a civilian scenario where you have unruly people, that's totally different. So you do get specific training on how to deal with that rather than use force on the front end.
Eyewitness News analyst, retired Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio says calling in the National Guard is a serious matter that requires a plan to mitigate the chaos.
And so I think you have to differentiate between those who are there legitimately exercising their First Amendment and those who are there to cause harm. And I think that's a real fine line.
It's a small group that can do a lot of damage, and NAACP Providence President Jim Vincent says can undermine the larger issue of creating better police relations between a community.
Nobody wants to see rioting and looting. It doesn't help anybody. It's not what anybody wants. However, nobody wants lack of opportunity. Nobody wants a lack of police accountability. Nobody wants a lack of police professionalism either. So we have to come together to solve these things, or there's going to be further problems.
Now, as far as we know, no Rhode Island police officers are heading down there. We do know there are 2,000 National Guard troops in Baltimore right now. Reporting live at the mobile newsroom, Kelly Sullivan, Eyewitness News.
We'll have all your overnight developments on the Baltimore police custody death coming up tomorrow on Eyewitness News this morning starting at 4:30. Plus, you can get updates anytime on WPRI.com.